Welcome to New Life Live with Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's today's host, Chris Williams.
Hey, welcome to New Life Live. We are so glad that you are with us today, and I'm really glad to be with two good friends, all of us in studio, licensed psychologist, Dr. Alice Benton.
Hello, Chris.
How you doing? Hey, Alice.
I'm going for bold as a lion today. That's how I'm doing.
All
That's
right.
not my nature, but that's what I'm striving
All right.
for.
Yeah.
Love that.
Let's put it on and see how it fits, right?
Yes.
And then I also have my dear friend, Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris, licensed marriage and family therapist. How you doing, Jacqui?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
Okay, Jacqui, here's what's on my mind.
Okay.
I was just reading that the prevalence of depression over a lifetime for U.S. adults has jumped above 20% for the first time. Talk to us about depression.
There's so many things about depression that I think people should be aware of. One is that it can be situational. It can also be something that's a long-term thing. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it becomes more of a burden. Some people have what we call persistent depressive disorder.
Yeah.
So it's this low grade kind of Eeyore-like thing. But sometimes people are so depressed that they can't get out of bed, they can't eat, they have a hard time working. And it can come with chronic pain, chronic fatigue. There's so many debilitating things about depression. And I think sometimes people aren't given the compassion that they need, and that just adds to the depression. So now you're depressed because you're in pain, because you can't sleep well or you're sleeping too much, and it just feels hopeless.
Yeah.
And when you've not experienced that, you might not be as compassionate as somebody might need, because you think, well, just get over it, just pray. I mean, everybody gets sad every once in a while, but depression is more than being sad.
Yeah.
Depression is like having a heavy, dark wool blanket covering you, and you can't find a way out.
Well, and the nice thing is that the new neurology shows us that at its very heart and soul, that depression is a lack of usable energy in the brain.
It is. And if you've had it for a long period of time, the brain has gotten conditioned to not having that energy.
Yeah.
And so even when we go to therapy, sometimes it's still hard to make a change with depression because there's nothing to work with.
Yeah, change takes energy.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's easy for outsiders and even a person experiencing depression themselves to criticize, oh, that's lazy. Oh, you don't care enough. Because if you cared, you'd be trying harder.
Yep.
But for people with severe, significant depression, just choosing to continue to live may be a monumental daily choice that they are making. You can feel paralyzed with depression.
Yeah, because it can look 20% to you, but it actually requires 100% of me to get to that 20%.
Exactly.
And so here's an admission. Like in my depression, one of the things that I've noticed is that I will gain a sense of worth from my productivity. Not healthy. I'm just saying it's just a thing, you know. I feel good about myself if I get a bunch of things done. In depression, I can't get a bunch of things done. And so it like doubles back, not just on the fact that I'm depressed, but I'm depressed about the depression.
Yes.
It's like meta-depression.
And in my experience, I deal with chronic pain, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I can't do the things I need to do to feel better, which is depressing. And so now you're stuck in this cycle.
Well, and years ago, I'm so glad that I took the advice of a therapist and did medication and found one that worked for me. But also, there's so many different ways. One, we need to know about it. We need to know how to treat it. But one of the resources that we have here at New Life is 100 Days to Freedom from Depression. It's a great devotional for people struggling with depression. It lets you know that you're not alone, but it also provides hope and a little bit of boost in your situation. You can order a copy of that at newlife.com. If you go to newlife.com, we have so many different resources there. Tons of great devotionals. 100 Days of Freedom from Anxiety is an example, but check that out. Also, give us a call today, 1-800-229-3000.
We went to the intimacy in marriage. We were both done.
Intimacy in marriage, I have witnessed at taking people who were done. We give them information they just didn't have. So many people think, I've done everything. I promise you, you haven't done everything. And when you come to intimacy and marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process where you take in the information. You have people around you who understand you, who can validate you. But then here's the biggie. You get to practice what you're learning.
The next Intimacy and Marriage Weekend is July 26th to the 28th in Washington, D.C. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50. 1-800-639-5433.
The transformation, phenomenal. It has transformed our lives so much.
1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live, and we were just talking about a depressing topic. Depression. But a really important topic because so many of us can struggle with it. Or so many of us have loved ones and friends and family that struggle with it as well. And we want you to know that here at New Life, there is hope and healing in that really hard, depressive place. So give us a call today, 1-800-229-3000. It'll be me, Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris, Dr. Alice Benton. We'll be in studio for 2 hours today. We would love to connect with you. And right now, we're going to connect with Layla in Muskogee, Oklahoma, listening or connected with us through Facebook. Layla, so glad that you're with us today.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Hi.
All right, talk to us. What's going on? How can we help?
Well, I'm battling my own addiction, recovery, and depression. My own demons. Anyway, I was just curious. So I've changed my diet and my lifestyle, and I was wanting to know if there are any foods that will enhance your mood. Like any kind of, like, I know that cranberries or something, make you happier. And I was wanting to know if you knew anything about that.
Chocolate chip cookies do it for me. I tend to eat my depression, but no, not in the best way. It's just another dopamine kick that doesn't work out in the long run. But so what do you think, Alice?
Well, Layla, good and important question because we are finding out that the processed foods bring us down both weight-wise, but also they can add to depression. They can add to anxiety. The unnatural foods tend to not be so good for mood, whereas the God-created foods are what keep us physically and even emotionally healthier. I actually was just listening to a doctor talking about how eggs boost serotonin, and it is a specific food that high in protein, good for the body, but also good for the mood. And really, a lot of plant-based and again, just natural foods that God has created. That's what tends to be best for our mood. Would you tell us just a little bit more about why you're asking this question? As you're practicing recovery, you said addiction, dealing with some depression. Why has this question come to the surface for you?
Well, my mother is a manic depressive, bipolar, and I'm working on breaking the cycle. I've been in counseling since I was a little kid, and I've been on Prozac since I was 11, and I've been off any kind of meds, for a couple of years now. But now I'm recently pregnant unexpectedly, and
Congratulations.
So, thank you. But yeah, I'm not even supposed to have kids, but I'm pregnant with twin girls, and so. I have completely changed my diet. I'm in school to be an addiction recovery counselor because I believe, that's my calling. And so I was just curious because, I quit eating meat and processed foods. And so I was just curious about, the mood enhancing, what specifically would enhance your mood?
I think one of the, as a kind of... how do you bring it all together in simple terms? Since I can't name a bunch of different foods, what I would say is an anti-inflammatory diet. So if you're looking do some research on foods that cause inflammation in the body, those would be the things that I would avoid. And I would eat more of the things that that actually help to reduce inflammation in the body. And I agree with what Dr. Alice said, a plant-based diet. And we're being encouraged more and more by medical professionals to do that. I know my doctor has asked that I start to look towards at least reducing the meat intake in my life by 50%. And it's made a difference in the way I move my body and the way I feel. And so I think making those changes to taking out just some of the processed stuff. Let's just start small. You don't have to go in and clean out your entire cabinet today. But I think once you start eating more fruits and vegetables, and once you start to get the benefit in your body, it becomes much easier to stay away from those things. My newest accomplishment is that I'm completely off of sodas, and so I no longer drink Diet Coke, and I probably have been addicted to Diet Coke. Well, my mom was a Tab drinker, so I've been addicted to Diet Coke my whole life. But I'm trying to stay away from artificial sweeteners and soda, and so I'm just drinking water and maybe unsweet tea, and that is making a difference. So taking the sugar out of the diet, I think can be a real big help. And then it affects the pain part too. So if you're dealing with chronic pain or chronic fatigue, that dietary change will make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Well, here lately, I've been delivered, to the Lord, and it seems like I married a Muslim at a young age, and so I've been the confused Indian my whole life. And so, I wasn't privy to the Bible, and so, the Lord made his presence in my life, and so I've joined a church and a gym, and, and I've been in school, and like all these other changes in my life, and he told me he was going to give me the one thing I wanted, which was babies, and so here I am, pregnant. So I do have cut out pot, and I don't eat anything sweet. I have fruits and vegetables in my refrigerator. So.
Well, and Layla, I also want to jump in here because there's two things I want to address. First, in your studies, you're probably coming across this thing called post-acute withdrawal, right? So the initial withdrawal from addiction, which is usually physical, that's the part that lasts anywhere between a week to 2 weeks. Well, depending on the substance, it could last up to 6 months. But the irony is, like, that's the easier part. I mean, it's really hard, but it's the easier part of withdrawal. It's the post-acute withdrawal that the mood disorders start to set in much more prevalently, like the anxieties and the depressions and the swings that could happen. And so we want brain food as well. So that's going to be high in, what am I trying to say?
The omega fatty acids are
so
necessary.
you want omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants. There it's coming. So antioxidants really help with that as well. But one of the essential pieces that we tend to overlook, but we don't hear it in New Life, we emphasize this, is one of the primary God-given energy sources in our life, healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And so we
heard that.
Yeah. So because one of the great energy drainers in our life, unhealthy relationship.
Right.
And so in recovery, it requires us to set some boundaries that can be really hard because there are people in our lives, and this is not a judgment against them. It just happens. But they are energy vampires. Right? They just suck the energy right out of us. And those are people that we must set boundaries around and with. And then there are energy providers, and those are the people that we want to make part of our rhythm of life, rhythm of connection and relationship. Those are the people we want to get coffee with. Those are the people that we want to be in meetings with and maybe do step work with. Because there's another thing that you're going into that is a cautionary tale. You are becoming an addiction counselor. That profession has a lot of occupational hazards.
Right.
It is a very, very typically high stress, high demand, low reward career. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So establishing boundaries and healthy lifestyle now is really, really important, especially, then you add in this really, really awesome but crucial component of you're about to be a new mother of twins.
Yeah.
That's going to be a huge energy, both provider and a huge energy drain. And with your history, you're going to be wanting to pay attention and cue in your medical team, your doctors, to monitor you for postpartum depression.
Right. Yeah, I'm currently taking care of my mother right now. Like I said, she's been suffering through manic depression and bipolar ever since I was a little kid, and she's had more suicide attempts than anybody I know.
Oh, wow.
So right now, I'm living at home with my mom, taking care of her full time.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to build myself up, without letting it all drag me down. So it's been a challenge all the way around.
Yeah.
So getting as strong and stable as you can to continue to care for your mother and to care for your daughters that are coming is of such high importance. I want to leave you with just a couple other examples in direct answer to your initial question, because a lot of us have learned to stay away from fat as if that's bad and it's not what we should be eating. But the healthy fats, the coconut oil, avocado oil, nuts, if you're not allergic to them, especially for a pregnant mother, and if you nurse a nursing mother, we need that. And replacing the processed sugar with honey, with maple syrup, with the natural sugars. You're on the right track, Layla, and your mom needs you, your daughters need you to be strong. So thank you for asking this important question.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. I'm so glad I called in today.
Well,
so are we.
Well, I'm going to give you 2 resources. We're going to send you a Life Recovery Bible. And on October 5th, we are going to give you a registration to our Life Recovery Conference. It's online on October 5th. The theme is The Courage to Change, and we'll be addressing different types of addiction, what it looks like to be in recovery. I'll be talking about when we get into recovery, we oftentimes discover that there is a codependent waiting underneath all of that emerges for us. There's so many different topics, but we would love to provide that resource for you. And I'm so glad, Layla, that you called us today, and thank you for being with us. Again, as I mentioned, we have this Life Recovery Conference coming up, again, online October 5th, and would love for you to register for that. If you are interested, register now because the price is right. It is $45 right now. After September 5th, it goes up to $55. And you can register online at newlife.com, and we would love to have you join us there. With that, we'd love for Mary to join us, listening in, I believe, San Francisco. Is that right, Mary?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. And you're joining us through KFIA. Mary, tell us what's going on today.
Okay, I'll try to make it short, but it's a long story short. I called in a couple weeks ago to talk about my daughter, who's 42, who's living with me, and she's been addicted to pain pills. She has a lot of physical problems, and she sneak drinks the White Claw, and says she's not, and I caught her. So the bottom line is, you guys were really helpful. You gave me a number of intervention. And I called, and Keith is awesome, but I just don't know if it's my place to get a credit card and charge the money and go through the effort. She's on an upswing now. She got a job, even though she needs 2 knee replacements, and she's cut back on the drinking because I told her to get out. This is like the 4th time I told her to get out, and now it's like it's blown over. It's the game where she's doing everything, and she went to Celebrate Recovery one time, but it never lasts. And I'm so angry. I don't want to deal with it. I want to make her get out. And she's, they're searching her for cancer. She's got a lot of health maladies. Her liver is shot. Yeah. And now her daughter's living with me, and she's okay. She needs to get on her feet, but I'm tired, and I don't want to do it anymore. And I'm afraid to let go and not try again, but I don't want to try anymore. Yeah. I just want her out of my house. And she's sweet. She's sweet when she's sweet. She's terribly codependent.
Yes.
And I don't know what to do.
Mary, the fatigue and the worry is so evident in your voice. This sounds like it has been going on for a long time, and I'm sure your daughter's pain and the unknowns about her medical condition must weigh on you and make it difficult to know, can I move her out of my home when she's suffering so much? Is your worry for her, and maybe some guilt about would a good mother kick a kid out in this condition? Is that what can get in your way of making that next step?
Well, I've been nagging and harping on her to go to the doctor for over 2 years. She showed me everything that's wrong. Her legs are swollen. She can't walk. Her stomach's swollen like she's 3 months pregnant. She never did anything about it. And now she had to because she went to ER and they said she's got bleeding inside. So it's not anything that I'm doing to help her. It's her being forced to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a waste of time for me. I'm just placating her being here.
Yeah, so nagging and harping doesn't work. Would that be correct?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay, so Mary, you hear the music. We're going to go to break here shortly. But I'm going to give you a line to think about as we go into this break, and that is, daughter, I am out of ideas on how you could fix your life. And so I'm going to fire myself from that position. And then we'll give you some guidance and help along the way right when we come back. Give us a call, 1-800-229-3000.
When you give to the New Life Scholarship Fund, you're giving someone hope for a brighter future.
I was kind of in the closet and hit with my struggle. Your donation really made the difference, especially in my situation, because I would have getting laid off from my job.
At the New Life Intensives, hurting people are able to begin a new path towards healing and freedom that has an effect on all of those around them.
I think the people who support New Life financially are people that I'll never know. You know, I'll never be able to thank them personally for the gift that they gave to us. Their giving saved me, my husband, and our family from being torn apart.
To help hurting people to connect to the help they need, make your gift to the Scholarship Fund at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE and specifying scholarships.
Someone called and sponsored me to come this weekend. Whoever that is, just know that you saved a life. Literally, you saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. Dr. Heidi Summers on coaching.
A lot of people don't understand the difference between counseling and coaching. Coaches can help you with strategizing. Not everyone is in a crisis or recovering from a trauma. A lot of people just need help getting to where they want to be, and they don't know how to do that. And so it's helpful to have a third party come in to give objective feedback, set goals, create accountability, and help you walk out what your goals actually are.
If you need a coach for life, your career, relationships, your health and fitness, leadership, and more, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been screened and certified with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
Coaches are intended to help you live in the present and goal set toward what it is you want for the future.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and talk to us about getting a New Life coach today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so glad that you're with us. So glad that you're joining with us. And give us a call today. We'd love to help you. Call us at 1-800-229-3000. Again, that's 1-800-229-3000. And we are talking to Mary, and she is in a really, really painfully tough situation with her daughter. Mary, we want to give you some guidance and direction here. Before I turn it over to the other great wisdom in the room, I always like to have this line with families that have loved ones with addictions. Families make terrible treatment centers.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's for sure. Yep.
And families make terrible hospitals.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a lot going on with your daughter.
Yeah.
Jacqui, what do you think?
I feel for you, Mary. I hear the exhaustion and the frustration, the disappointment. So I'm curious how you're taking care of yourself. Are you in therapy?
I was for quite a while, but it wasn't a good match. It didn't help me. But the bottom line is, I've done Celebrate Recovery. I was married to an addict for 35 years, which she associates with a lot. He's a good guy, but he does not. So am I in therapy? I went to a Celebrate Recovery meeting last Friday, and I'm going to keep going. So
that sounds wonderful. Building a support, building your own support system, I think is really important, because as you're making this decision of whether she's going to come back to your house or whether you're going to insist that she doesn't, you're going to need somebody to be able to talk some of those things out with. A place to rest, maybe. If you decide that she stays, you're going to need respite. So I'm just wondering about your circle, your support system. Are there people in your life that are encouraging you, that are helpful to you, or are all of your relationships caregiver relationships?
No, they're not all caregiver relationships, but she's back in my house.
Okay, so she's back from the hospital.
Day, stayed at her dad. Yeah, went to the hospital for one day, checked herself out. She has follow-up appointments. And I came home, and there she is in my house.
Did she check herself out, AMA? You said she checked herself out.
So she didn't say so, but she told him she had to go home because she had a job. And she does have a job. She started a job. It's only going to be temporary. It's the high thing now. Everything's going to be okay. And it's the game. It's the game. Mm-hmm. She's here in her bedroom right now because she knows I'm going to blow. It's such a game. I blow and I say, you need to get out. And I can go stay at Dad's for a little bit. I call the women's shelter, and that's all there is. And when she gets surgery, she's going into a rehab place. She's not coming to my house. I can't do it anymore.
Mary, when you ask her to leave, and so she says, I can go to Dad's, I can go to a women's shelter, what happens then? Does she leave sometimes, or does she then refuse to leave?
Oh, she leaves for a day or two, and then she comes back, and everything's fine, and, she plays the good girl, and it's the same thing that happened with my ex-husband.
And what goes through what goes through your mind when she asks to come back after she has left?
She doesn't ask to come back. She just comes in.
Mm-hmm. So she has a key.
And acts like everything's okay. Yeah, she has a key. I didn't even have time to clean out her room and change the locks before she was back. She came straight here from the hospital, and her dad gave her a ride. And she said she couldn't call me because her phone was dead, but she called her dad.
What are you worried will happen if you ask her to leave again and you change the locks or you change the setup of your house so that her room is no longer available to her?
I'm afraid that I'm not doing the right thing. I don't know what to do. The intervention guy said, and he was right, don't kick her out until we do an intervention. I called him, but I'm not going with that. Everything I spent money on and tried, and I think it's just me. It's futile. She has to do it herself. So what am I worried about if I kick her out and change the lock? She'll be really upset and hurt, and then, say a few things, and then she'll say she's sorry, but she's never addressed coming in. Coming back in. No plan.
Mary, there's this thing called flight to health, and that's when the addict feels like the game is up, and then they will behave well.
Yes.
But the addiction is never treated. Her medical conditions are never treated. And so I would encourage you to move ahead with the interventionist, because that really helps build support. Now, if that's something you can't do, then it's going to require strength on your end, because what we need here is a really, really clear understanding. All you are doing, and you said it's just part of the game, is harboring her illness and getting sick yourself.
Right.
I tell families this all the time. Part of the intervention is not for the addict, it's for you. It's an intervention for you to stop the enabling and behavior that harbors the illness, that keeps it, that resources it and keeps it alive.
Because she could do this forever. She's been doing this her whole life. You're her mom.
Yeah.
So it's going to take you being okay with her being mad at you. Because you're mad at her right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and knowing that her anger at you is her inner addict protesting. It's not her, it's her addiction. So we want to be able to get you support around this. And so again, I want to encourage you to keep following through, keep it step by step as you are seeking this solution. And we're going to send you a copy, if we haven't already, of Take Your Life Back. That is a guidance in this help. And so, Mary, thank you so much for calling in, and we're going to cheer you on as you continue to take these tough steps. We'll be right back.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Again, we are so glad that you're with us today. We would love to connect with you. Give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. If there is an issue, a struggle in your life, or you just want to talk to us, come hang out with us, 1-800-229-3000. And Alice, you had three, what are 3 steps that families with a loved one in addiction can do?
This is for Mary, but this is really for all of us. When we don't know, am I enabling or am I truly helping my loved one who is absolutely struggling? No doubt about that. We've got to get clear about what our decision is. And 2 litmus tests for whether or not we're enabling are, is my loved one staying stuck because of the help I'm giving? Are they staying immature and sick? And am I angry because of the way I'm helping? If those 2 things are a yes, then I'm doing too much. Yeah. So whether or not I got to kick them out or I have to pull back the level of help I'm given, that's something we got to figure out together. And we usually need, second step, we need the support to be able to figure it out. That can be a sponsor through Celebrate Recovery. That can be through the codependence groups, which Celebrate Recovery has, or through a therapist, or even through that interventionist, because we got to count the cost. Mary is paying such a price, emotionally, spiritually, financially, to be back and forth about this. Lastly, we have to get clear about the kind of help we are willing to offer. Mm-hmm. So it may be that, daughter, you can come back once you have 3 months of sobriety under your belt, and then I'd be happy to help you, but you got to be sober with drug tests showing me that, and you have to be in recovery program. Or I can't help by having you in my house, but I will help with financial support when you're sober. I'll help by going to meetings with you. Get clear about what I will do and what I will not do.
Well, that's so good, Alice. Thank you so much for that, because those are 3 really essential helps.
Yes.
That in guidance points that we need to use in these really difficult situations. It is so awesome to hear back from listeners. And it's also surprising, because we can't see you out there. We don't know who all of you are. But once in a while, we'll get a testimony that shows us. And so we got a testimony from Antonio in Portugal who listens on our podcast. He says, "Hello, I just want to say thank you to everyone on New Life Live radio program. For about 6 months, I've been dealing with a very complicated family situation with my father-in-law. Here in Portugal, we don't use much counseling. In America too. It's not it's not our culture, and listening to the show has been a great help. By listening to the show, I realized what the problem was. It was me. Before I thought it was the other person. So my lesson was this: even though many things were and are wrong, namely my father-in-law's lack of conversation, which is just his way of being, I started to question myself about what I was doing with this situation. And as it was me who started the conflict, which was me trying to fix the family, it had been me to put an end to it as well. So I put my pride aside, I apologized to my father-in-law, and now the relationships are getting better. Thank you." By partnering with us, by us being on the radio, we can reach all the way to Portugal. We can go across the globe. We just had a YouTube listener yesterday interacting with us from Ethiopia. And so shout out to our Ethiopian listener, and so glad that you're with us. But there is a reach in our ministry that is only possible with financial contributions and help from you. So I want to just encourage you, all of the listeners out there, if it's on your heart, or if it's on your mind, or if just my voice is in your ear, contribute. Give to us. Allow us to help more people like Antonio in Portugal that doesn't have the resources that around him and doesn't have the access, because we're providing access and resources for people who don't have it or can't use it. So please partner with us. You can contribute. You can go online, newlife.com. You can call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And here in the month of July, any contribution of $25 or more, you get Henry Cloud's book, Why I Believe. It didn't cross my mind for a second, but Why I Believe. And such a great book and great resource. But you partnering with us allows you to make an impact all around the world. So please consider giving to us, and we would greatly appreciate your contributions. And again, there's tons of different ways to do that. The other thing I want to mention is that we have an app, and you can download the app, New Life app. And that's another way that you can make contributions, but another way that you can access all of our resources. And again, we'd love to connect with you. If you want to access us today, like I mentioned before, 1-800-229-3000. We're going to be in the studio for a couple of hours. So give us a call. And right now, we're going to go to Sarah in Sanger, Texas, listening on KWRD. Sarah, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Well, talk to us today. What's going on and how can we help you?
Yeah, so December of 2023, I just had the worst news of my life, and my 11-year-old son told me that he had been being sexually abused by his father and paternal grandmother for his whole life.
Oh my goodness.
The court process is very long and is ongoing. And so I was a counselor before this, and I can't be a counselor right now.
Yeah.
And I'm a strong believer, and the Lord is. I'm just holding on to Him with everything. But I am a single mother, and I don't know how to work because I cannot. I feel like I've been shot in the heart, and I don't know. And we're in ongoing counseling and EMDR, and
good.
Nothing is seeming to help.
Yes, yeah. Let me ask, just because I already assume this has been done, but has this been reported?
Yes.
Okay, good, good. And the legal process is in motion, as you had mentioned.
It is. I'm have learned through all of this that it takes a very, very long time, and it's very hard on the victims.
Yes. Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
And you said your son disclosed this just last December. Is that right? That recently?
Yes.
Oof.
Yes.
Okay. And as you point out, it doesn't feel like anything's helping, even though you're in counseling. What's your question for us about that?
Well, being the sole provider, I've just kind of watched everything fall apart, and how to be able to function in life to where I can still provide and work, because I have a breakdown about every day.
Mm-hmm.
and there's not a lot of careers that'll put up with that.
Yeah.
As far as being able to also make it to the weekly appointments we have for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at a loss, and it feels so alone, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Sarah, would you tell us about the people that are around you that you can trust, which may be very difficult to know right now, because the very person who was supposed to provide for and protect is the perpetrator? Are there people around you that you do trust?
Yes. I have a grandmother and my father are very close. Yes. But I can count them on one hand.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sarah, is it possible for you to speak with your doctor and get on short-term disability while you're moving through this to help with the financial aspect, since you can't work?
So the week before he disclosed, I was laid off. So there is no short-term disability options. Yeah.
Okay. Are you in therapy for your? I know you said that you guys are doing therapy. Are you in individual therapy, or are you guys doing family therapy?
Individual. I'm going twice a week, and one of them is EMDR.
Good. Yeah.
And I think that this is something so devastating. 7 months is a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
It hasn't touched it. I can't even imagine what you're going through right now. And so the best that I have to offer is you've got to give yourself grace and time to move through this. You know the things to do, and you're doing those things. But the healing for this is going to be an ongoing process, because it's all going to be revisited every time you have to go into court. And as you said, the process is hard on the victims, and you're going to have to repair that every time you encounter it. And so getting in maybe a life recovery group, adding some more support to your circle could be really helpful to give you some more people to rely on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Sarah, you hear the music. We're going to head to a break here soon, but we want to continue to help guide you, support you, and encourage you when we come back. And I just want to let all of the listeners know out there, you can also connect with us on YouTube. And so if you're watching on YouTube, as you hear many YouTubers say, hit that like and subscribe button. Also, if you're listening out there, again, we have this show. We have another show that we're going to be doing. So give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. We would love to connect with you. And we're going to keep connecting with Sarah right after this.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are. Club New Life changes lives.
You guys came along into my life in 2022, That was a really, really difficult year of my life.
You can help New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people by joining Club New Life today.
I began to really process a lot of things that I've needed to for a long time, and y'all were a very big part of that.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
I came out of it having never experienced anything like that, and y'all were there.
Join today and help continue the message of hope to a troubled world.
I knew I had to keep going, and I joined Club New Life, and y'all have been the resource that has now been a light for my wife and I.
Go to newlife.com/CNL, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places.
Keep doing what you do because it makes a difference.
newlife.com/CNL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so glad that you are all with us. Again, give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. We are talking with Sarah. Sarah, our hearts were just breaking for you. I mean, we were talking about it at the break, and it's so tragic. And to Jacqui's point, even though you have 7 months of work in this, I don't know how much I believe in big T or little t trauma, but this is a gigantic T trauma. This goes beyond a big T. And so 7 months into the recovery process is still very early.
And you have a child that's definitely got complex, PTSD.
Yeah.
So grateful that he was able to come to you and tell you and be removed from that situation. But you're also caring for him in his trauma. And so you're just going to keep revisiting it. And again, just giving yourself grace as you do this work, I think is really important.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, it is normal in just run-of-the-mill therapy that therapy actually tends to reveal messy feelings. We feel worse before we feel better, let alone a situation like yours and your son. So I don't want you to measure the success of therapy by how good you two are feeling, because it's probably not the time for that yet. It's still the time to be processing the anger and the sadness and the hopelessness. You are spot on, though, Mom, that you got the legal process involved so quickly, that you have yourself and your son in these services. You're in the right place. And so let the process work, which will continue to take time. And then I'm going to challenge you to do something, because you're hitting some financial straits. And I'm going to advise you to do something that admittedly I myself would also struggle to do. Because you're a counselor, I think you are a helper. And when you have been hurt so badly, it makes it difficult to receive help from other people, and it's probably just not a part of your nature. Single moms just tend to be so self-sufficient because you have to be. But this is actually a time to get very needy and to allow your trustworthy community to know you're in dire need. And so that's even going to involve asking for financial support. And I want you to do that in a couple different ways. Not knowing the financial situation, of course, of your father or your grandmother, I want you to talk with them about your financial needs. You may need to downsize your life and move in with a family member for a time so that you can cut that bill of the rent or the mortgage out, because you and your son just need to focus on your healing. If you're not a part of a church community, get into one. And churches usually have funding, especially big healthy churches usually have funding to support their congregation. This is the time to ask for that from your pastor. I've had family members, Sarah, who start GoFundMe pages when one of us is in such dire need, and we just collect the good of the family and the community around us. It is so uncomfortable to do that, but I want you to think about asking for help in all these ways. Now, I'm making really difficult suggestions here. How are you feeling with what I'm proposing?
Oh, I'm in tears. My grandmother, I didn't even have to ask.
Yeah.
Is helped as much as she possibly can, and she just gave me a little help today, and it just is. I'm so thankful.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, to piggyback off of what Alice was saying, there are people in your life that love you more than you know, that love your son to the moon and back. and will do whatever they can to help them. The other thing that Alice is suggesting that I think is really important is, people thrive with the counsel of many, right? As we see in Proverbs. The counsel of many also bring in not just their financial resources, but they bring in the resource of ideas, the resource of follow-through, the resource of creativity. In that when you have that counsel and when you have that tribe and you're saying, hey guys, here's the problem and here's the solution and I need your help, it's not just finances that they can provide, it's the ideas on how to go get those resources.
And the
around
connections. I think that's really important,
yeah.
Chris. You might find, are you in a church family? Do you have a church home?
No, I visit different churches. But no, I don't have a home.
Some, as Alice said, some larger churches have ministries that are designed to provide care for the people in their community. And so check with the ones that you've been visiting and see if any of them have that. But having a conversation with some trusted people in that church community might reveal to you some support, some legal support. You don't know, maybe somebody there's an attorney or a paralegal that can help you move through the process, or you might get connected with someone who's a social worker and they understand what resources are there in your area. And so I agree with Chris, making connections in that church group and getting resources, and I agree with Alice, asking for help, which is such a hard thing for us to do as helpers.
Absolutely.
I noticed that there's a lot of people that, I know I'm limited to who I can discuss this with, but what I've noticed is even people that I thought were really close can't handle it, and they disappear.
Yeah, there are some of those people, but then there's other people. So, part of our fear is that people won't be there for us when we need it, and that fear is realized. But part of the fear blocks us from the people who are ready to jump in and help. Mm-hmm. And there are people out there who are very, very passionate about helping families suffering from the effects of sexual abuse.
And some people can't help and can't stay engaged with you. It might just be too close to home for them, or their worst nightmare, and they don't have what you need. And so, spend that energy on the folks who do.
So, Sarah, thank you. Oh, go ahead, Sarah.
No, I know it's probably running down on time, but I was just wondering also, is that me and my son both are struggling. We were reading John last night and about the forgiveness and the forgiveness of your enemies, and I just can't even wrap my brain around it anymore.
You're not ready for that yet.
Yeah. Can we just say, pause? Mm-hmm. You'll forgive. The fact that you're reading that together, you want to forgive. And right now, there's a whole lot of other things you're feeling, and the forgiveness can come, but you need to work through the other things first, right? That it sounds like that forgiveness at this stage seems more like releasing them, the perpetrator, and so that you don't carry that burden. And so I understand that, and I could see doing that. But again, don't beat yourself up for not being ready to forgive right now.
Yeah, it's still way too early in that process.
It's okay to stay in the, Lord, I want to forgive because I trust your word, but my heart's not there yet. Help get my heart there, and let him do that work while you keep doing your work in therapy.
Because you've submitted to him. Mm-hmm. Trust the Holy Spirit to get you there. You've done the work of submitting. I want to forgive. This is horrific, and in my flesh, I want to hate and stay in this place, but I know you and I trust you, God, and so I'm giving it over to you. Help me, help my heart to heal. And then you focus on doing your work and leave that at the altar.
Yeah. So, Sarah, thank you so much for calling in today, and we are with you in prayer and heart and soul in your recovery process and with your son. We're going to send you a copy of the Emotional Freedom Workbook that kind of helps guide this along the way into what you guys are saying is like, yes, forgiveness and healing, it's all a process. And certain things have to happen for us to be able to get to certain situations or certain stages in the process. So right now, it's just focusing on getting safe and getting some healing. And we would love to connect with you. Again, our heart here at New Life is to provide you help in life's hardest places. And we do that through hope and healing. Give us a call, because we're going to be in studio for another hour today. You can give us a call at 1-800-229-3000. If you're online, hang with us, and we'll get to you in the next hour. For everyone else, thank you so much for being with us today, and we wish you a very, very, very good week. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next show.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.